Hey folks, Father Sanpothik from cgvirus. Today we're going to create some procedural textures. We're going to bake some essential maps for our textures, and we're going to implement it with our asset. Also, we're going to take a look at the main philosophy behind the procedural textures. So let's see. Alright, so how can we make procedural textures? Well, procedural textures depends on mainly two things. One is this kind of seamless textures. Okay, it is textures.com. You can search for it, and there are lots of assets you can use. So this is seamless. When it will be tiled, it will not be, there will be no seam. So it is a pretty great asset. Also, you can use textures and manipulate it in GIMP for creating seamless textures. There are lots of tutorials, you can search for it. Also, Photoshop has that capability too, so you can use them, which is great. So this is our seamless one. And another one which is really very interesting one is noise textures, like like here in Blender we have magic textures, Musgrave texture, or Musgrave. There's noise texture, we can use that, Voronoi texture, which is pretty amazing, and web texture. So you can use these textures to create your own procedural texture. All right. Now there are two things. Procedural textures needs two essential map. One is called pointiness or curvature in actual term. Those pointiness in a surface, or curvature in a surface. So we need to generate it. And also another one is ambient occlusion. So let's generate our pointiness curvature here. So I'm searching for geometry. You can see it here. So this is our high density mesh. So Control Shift, position, normal, tangent, incoming, and here is our pointiness. All right. Unfortunately, we cannot see it in PBR viewport. You have to Shift Z to go through your render section, the cycle render, and then you will see it. All right, after the BVH, it has been done. You can see very tiny little details. So what we're going to do here is basically create a ramp map here, color ramp, and let's do it like that. And I'm going to squeeze it a little bit down, because we're going to bake it and we need some much more information rather than solid white space. So I'm just going to bake it like let's use 0.5 here, which will be great. Yeah, some kind of dark. This is a dark contrast setup. You can use something like 0.452 if you don't need too much. Yeah, this will work. All right, so we will need this texture to be baked to our low resolution model. So how can we do that? Okay, press Shift Z again to go to your solid mode. Let's go there. I have already overlapped it with our low poly, which is great. So now let's select the coin sculpt, and let's select the coin low, Shift, right? So now what we need to do is basically again just like normal other baking setups we did earlier, just create a UV texture image here, create a new image. Let's name it curvature. I have already done it, so let's use curvature 2 into 2. It will be a 2K map. Other things are pretty much same. Let's OK it, image, search for curvature. I already have done one, so yeah. And then what we need to do here is basically go to this render panel, select it here, and let's go to bake, and let's go to emit and bake it, and I'm coming back. Yeah, so the bake is done. I forgot, you have to select the select to active, and the red distance should be 1. These were, you know, the standard ones. So this is baked. All right, it has already been baked. Just, you know, just F3 and save your image and things like that. I will not care because I have done it before. All right, so another thing what we need, let's go to this QuantiSculpt again. Okay, let's use this, press Shift D. We're going to create a new image, and it will be our AO. I have already done it, so let's use AO2. There we go, and use AO2 here, and then select this image, go to ambient occlusion, select it to active, ray distance 1. Now let's select this QuantiSculpt, then select the Quant low and bake it. You have to go for some sampling. You should probably use 500 or 1000 for the sampling. I used 500 because ambient occlusion needs more sampling. The greater the sample, the greater the details. So yeah, so I am going to load my textures now, and I'm coming back. Alright, here is our baked textures. This is the ambient occlusion one. We're going to ramp it up, and there is our curvature map. Alright, we're going to use it. So procedural textures depends on two things. One is mask, that is, you know, some effect mask, like, you know, scratches as a mask, or, you know, grunge as a mask. I'm going to give you both of them, you can play with it. And also there are another kind of procedural texture, like, you know, cement, concrete, leather, something like that. You know, I'm not going to touch it because these are pretty much simple, and these are pretty much, you know, exactly what they do. Usually it will not depend on noise textures, rather than it will depend on seamless textures, like I have shown you before, right? So that that is essentially it. But masking textures, that is pretty much important, so I'm just going to cover it, and these are pretty much same. All right, so I have already loaded our dielectric and metallic mod. We're going to show you how to work with these guys. So first of all, let's go here and let's use an ramp, of course, a color ramp. It is pretty much important here. So you know, just ramp it up to see how much we get here. Okay, so this is our actual ambient occlusion. We will need it. All right, also we will need another one ramp to, you know, ramp it up. So there we go. So we have both ramp, so it will work as our threshold. All right, the threshold map. So I'm not going to go through lots of stuff because it will be too much boring. Let me see where we can go. Let's use some dielectric material to show what is going to happen. Let's use two colors. All right, sorry, RGB. Let's use this, and what else? Let's use this. So, and these two should be mixed. So there is a shortcut called Control 0 in Node Wrangler. It will mix it automatically. Press H to unhide it, and these are our mix. All right, so we're going to use them, and it will be in our color section. So this will be our top one. Let's see, we can use something like red, and this will be our bottom one. Let's use some kind of ash. So if I'm going to show it here, you can see nothing, right? Why? Because we need some kind of factors, right? Something like alpha. We have done it before, so just watch those tutorials. I'm not going to elaborate it anymore. So let's use some alpha or factors here. So let's use this color. This one is from curvature. If I'm going here, you can see, let's use some roughness. I'm just doodling around it, doesn't matter. So you can see now that we have our color in our metallic on the edges, right, the curvatures. So what we can do is manipulate it pretty much easily with our threshold property. Let's reverse it. Here we go. This is kind of fun, right? There we go. So something like that, you can do it like that. Also, what you can use is basically this guy as our factor, right? So you will get these kind of details. I think we have done too much rough. Yeah, let's use that. Or what you can do is basically you can use the metallic mode here to, oops, sorry. We can use the metallic mode. There we go. Let's use that here. Let's see what we can get. So something like that. The roughness is too high. Let's use something like this. It is coming from normal, right? So let's use a normal. Shift D. It will be non-color data. I'm going to use my previous normal, not the detailed one, just the simple one, and use a normal map. Yeah, color it up, test it up, and we can use this. Press shift to merge them together, and we can use G to just drag it here. So now you can see that we have our color details and whatnot, right? So that's how you can build up your own asset too. So there you go, something like that. Okay, let's turn off these lamps, we don't need them. Yeah, so that could be one. We have used some abstract colors here, red, white, red. Yeah, and let's use something like metallic color, metallic flavors. So yeah, that could be done. I'm just going to show you how this can be built. I think it will be quite boring if I just show you everything here, and it doesn't matter. So build your own. So if I'm going to the roughness, I can do that too if I want to. Then we can use some kind of invert channel, just use it with your preference, doesn't matter. Okay, we can change the factor if we want to. Yeah, something like that can be done. Also, what we can do is basically merge them both together. Let's use Ctrl+0 again to merge it. Press H, sorry, not M, press H, and let's build it up here. Let's use something like divide. It will create a very interesting one for us. So now we can threshold it, how much should it get or how much it shouldn't. So this kind of stuff can be done pretty easily with this setup, right? Yeah, so there we go. So use it with your preference. That is amazing. I think that could be awesome if we use some factor, or also you can merge them with your roughness, those pretty stuff we did earlier. So that can be done, right? Also, what you can do is basically create a noise texture, and let's mix it. Let's use a Shift D here. Here we go. Let's mix the factor, not the color, factor. So here what we can do is basically create a screen. Okay, let's use some scale of something like 10. So mix it up, and let's use a ramp again, Shift D, to manipulate it pretty much easily. Okay, so that's how we can create our own setup. I'm just going very fast here, manipulate it, see it, how can the things can be done. I'm not using distortion, let's use 2 here, that would be amazing. Yeah, so that is some kind of yeah. And another thing is, if I'm going to select it and press Alt, then up arrow or down arrow, you can, you know, if your node wrangler is enabled, you can change them interactively, which is great. So let's see, divide is working pretty fine here. I think it is amazing. Let's use some kind of noise. You know, I'm just choosing it. You know, it really doesn't matter how you want to work with it. It's all about your preference. It doesn't really matter at all. So you can use some point light here to just to see what is happening, and also you can use some, let's cut it off, I don't need the roughness. Let's use some standard roughness here. Yeah, so that's how you can create your own materials and things like that, you know. Also what you can do is basically, let's use this roughness, but let's use invert in a similar fashion. So I will give you those things. Also what you can do is basically, I forgot about it, let's use a bump map. Let's use a bump map, that will be pretty amazing. So bump map, there we go. And let's use these factors here as our height. Yeah, so now we're getting a very serious amount of, you know, things to work with. All right. So I'm going to show you my shadow buildup, and let's see how can we work with that. Yeah, to make your own shader, what you need to do is basically pretty much the same, you know. Just avoid these mesh textures, we will need it later. Let's use this just like that, okay, simply, and then just drag them all here. So if I'm going to Control G, there we go. So we have now our all setups are done. So what you need to do here is basically, let's zoom it here. I'm going to end. These are, you know, very laborious process, so I'm not going to bother too much. So color, here is our color, so you can name it bump, something like that, you know, and whatnot. Yeah, so that's how you can start working with it. I don't think normal map should be there. I think there should be a normal here. There we go. So name it like that, you know, just cross it over, just go through this. Yeah, this is our normal. So yeah, name it them accordingly, like, you know, this is our top one, this is our bottom one, this is our top color. So yeah, like, you know, color one, this is our top color, something like that. Okay, this is not our top color, this should be, let me see that. There we go, tap output, so you can see where everything is goes. So this is our ambient occlusion one. Okay, let's name it AO. So that's how you can work with it, right? So let's not brag it about it, you know. We don't need them because we already have our asset. You can build your asset, you should build your asset like this, you know, manipulate it and things like that. So let's talk about our pre-built asset, right? So let's delete them all and let's see how we can work with those guys. Alright, so I have built up two essential mask here. So you can you will have it here, you can get it here from procedural effect mask and go to the node tree, and there will be two. Grunge and Scratch. So let's append them. There we go. And let's group it out. Scratch mask, let's use this. Scratch mask 1. It is not very complex setup, everything is same. I have used two noise texture together with an add, a noise threshold, multiplied it, and did it with curvature and AO, which we are going to input here. Curvature with ramp. This is curvature, yeah. Let's color it up, and this is our AO with ramp. Now let's color it up here. So where it should go, of course, in roughness. So if in previous chapters we have seen that we are doing the roughness from value. Yes, of course, if you are doing a value, then you should merge it with the screen, right? Roughness, something like maybe an RGB. Let's use that in here in roughness. So we are getting our value, right? Then we are having these two. If I'm going to tag it here, you can see the roughness here. So let's see first the roughness here, how it will work. So there is a scratch multiplier, which is actually multiplying the roughness. So if you go like this, it will reduce. If you go like this in one, it will be enable like that. Also we have fuzz noise scale. So this is our scaling property. If I'm going to 10, it will be something like this. So let's use something like 5. It depends on your test. It doesn't matter how you're going to work with it. So it is essentially noises overlapping with each other. It's pretty much simple things. So you can use distortion, just play with it. Yeah. So what we can do here is basically create a merge node, that is a mix RGB, and it will be in here and it will be in here. So this is our top one, this is our bottom one, and voila, you're getting your scratches, your things. So if I'm going to use a screen here, you can use it where it is, yeah, screen, and then just turn up the factor up. We're using noise, so this is pretty much gigantic. Also, yes, of course, also if you're using your image textures, just do it like that, just painted roughness and just hop it in. Let me see if I can go there and select it. It will be much more interesting. Let's see. So let's go to our roughness. We have lots of roughness. Which one was our roughness mixed? Yeah, we did it. Scratches, we did it here. So this is our roughness base. Oh, sorry, we should go to final texture. There we go. So this was our roughness, right? So let's open this image here and let's replace it with this. Voila. So we're getting our roughness, we're getting our detail map. Yeah, use it and it will be amazing. All right, there we go. And here we go. So let's mute it and let's see how is our roughness is going, right? Pretty amazing. Also what we can do is basically go to the tab, and here is our noise threshold. What you can do here is pretty amazing. You can threshold your noise, how much it should get, how much. Okay, so this is kind of fun. Yeah, that's it. So this is our scratch mask, right? let's delete it. Now we're going to see another one that is called yep, that is called Grunge mask. We did it here. So Grunge mask is basically, you know, a color masking system. So what we need here again is our curvature ramp. So this is our curvature, just plug it in here. This is our AO, plug it in here. There you go. So it should go with color, and the color here is basically a top level color and a bottom level color. That means, you know, if you're painting something over it and it gets, you know, weathered, then there will be some metal beneath it, right? Something like that. Some kind of philosophy is like that. So if we can use that, you know, like, you know, making some RGB color here. Let's see, Shift D. So let's use something like gold. Let's use something like iron. Here we go. We can mix it, Control 0 to mix it up, and let's use the color property here. There we go. So it's something like gold. Let's use more goldish. So what we need to do here is basically press H. These are factor, which is great. So we're going to use some factor values, or sorry, we already did it in our node wrangler, right? So let's use that here. Yeah. So albedo top layer, that is our diffuse, and this is our bottom layer. So albedo bottom layer. Then what we can do is just delete this guy. We don't need that. I have already made that algorithm here, you know, divided, multiply, and mix. So you don't need to do that again. So let's use color. So now what we're getting is nothing. So what we can do is basically ramp it up. So after checking some parameters, you know, playing with it, what I have come up with is this. Okay, so what we did there, essentially the normal map should be plugged here and others here, right? Also I did some noise with bump here. Okay, and these AO map I have just ramped it up very high, you know. So you can see that this is also pretty amazing. You can use that. Okay, you can see the noise parameters here, how to fall it off. You know, use your artistic mind, it doesn't matter. And also we have used albedo top layer, and this is our color parameters. This is our roughness. You can use your own roughness. So yeah, this is essentially it. Also what you can do, there are some things you can do. These are pre-albedo we baked earlier, and these are pre-roughness we baked earlier. Sorry about that. Yeah. So what we can do is basically plug in those roughness too, if you want. So it can be roughness top layer. Then it will get crazy. Just to show you what is the possibilities here, we can use the albedo top layer here too, and you can see some amazing effects going on. Okay, so now it has the dot maps, it has everything it needs to top it up. Okay, so that's essentially it. It's a very loose tutorial. I didn't really went deep, because that will be pretty much huge, and it is obviously an artistic freedom, so use it with your choice, you know, there is no rules. So yeah, that's it. And I think this is the end of this playlist. This is the end of this series. I'm going to be very busy with my production, so maybe I cannot record in tutorial for 2 months, 1 or 2 months. But if I can have something interesting, I will let you know. Yeah, so that's it. I'm Father Samputik from cgvirus, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.